Welcome to the Sales Podcast, session 96, where Tom Blue has leads for you. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 96th edition of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Can you believe number 100 is almost here? Unbelievable. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, November 25th. So Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So hope you are safe and happy this Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year season. I hope you're doing something to end the year with a bang. And I mean from a business sense, also from a family and personal sense as well. You do need to take a little time to chillax, watch a little football, drink a little hot toddy, hang out with family. But this is a great time to end the year strong and to put some things into motion to ensure you start the new year off strong as well. Okay, if your business is seasonal, and many are, rather than goof off, take some time to do some planning. You know, if the end of the year is your normal goof off time, that's fine. You know, go hit the ski slopes. We can still surf here in Southern California. But you need to do some planning, okay? You need to understand where your leads are coming from, how you're going to generate more traffic to your website. What are you going to do to automate more of your business? What are you going to do to stay ahead of the competition? We just had new elections. How will new laws be impacting your business? How will that impact your prospects, your ideal clients? You need to look at the entire landscape in business so you understand how to get ahead of the curve, right? The great Wayne Gretzky always said, they asked him, how was he so good? And he said he would skate to where the puck was going to be. I learned that lesson. I remember I was 18, 19 years old, the Air Force Academy. My roommate, Tony Micah, was a racquetball player. I had never set foot in a racquetball court before. And I remember he would laugh, he would hit that ball, and I would chase it. And you can't chase a racquetball, right? You got to wait for it. You have to look at the angles, look at its trajectory, and wait for it, right? Put yourself in position so you can put the right hit on the ball. So do the same thing with your business. Look around, see how things are going, and do your best to predict its trajectory and get ahead of it. And that's a great time, this time of year, to do that. But you know what? It's always a great time of year to do that. You need to always be looking at what is working, testing new things. I had a guy, I was at Entreport training just a few weeks ago in late October. And we were at training, and there was a guy who's a consultant getting certified as well. And he asked me, honestly, we're sitting there around having lunch, and what's the best way to build a list quickly? And, it just depends. And I told him, I can't tell you one exact way to build a list. But, Dan Kennedy always says, I can give you 30 ways to get one lead, right? But are you willing to try all 30 of those to get one lead each? So 30 different ways to get 30 leads is what I meant to say. So you are always trying to beat your best performing ad. And, look around at the behemoths like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, even the U.S. Army. They change their slogans. They change how they go to market because the economy and the people change. The baby boomers are older, Gen Xers are older, millennials are coming up. So you have to change your messaging, message to market match, we always hear. So what are you doing to beat your best performing ad? So you're always looking. You cannot just sit back and relax and sit on your laurels and say, whatever was working, I'll just keep writing. Amen. Keep leveraging and using what has been working, but always try to beat it. If you've ever done any pay-per-click ads in Facebook, LinkedIn, good old Google AdWords, you are always testing multiple ads to see what works. And there's a thing called ad fatigue. I mean, people literally get tired of seeing something. And the good old reticular activators in our eyes and our brains, we literally block things out after we see them too many times, and we know that there is nothing in it for us. It does not pertain to us, so we literally stop seeing it. So you're always working on new ads, new messaging, rotating them through. Even the best performing ads will eventually stop working. So get ahead of the curve, write better ads all the time, be testing them, be working on it. That's how you grow your business. In this interview with Tom Blue, I've been using his service since somewhere around 2005. A friend of mine introduced me to Lead 411. And in the interview, he talks about, the fact he's an entrepreneur. He's not a salesperson. He had to learn about sales. And even in the interview, I mean, Tom's a laid-back guy. He's not, this rambunctious, over-the-top kind of promoter. He's really pretty calm. I had to pull some data out of him. He's just a humble, modest guy. He saw an opportunity, and he seized it. And he ran with it. Now he's in Boulder. He moved from Southern California because that's where he wanted to be, but it's also a great place for startups. So he went where the opportunity was as well. So, so pay close attention. It's a good interview. He has a great story. And then be sure to check out his platform because it's a great way to get new leads, hot, timely, relevant leads delivered to your inbox. And you can log in as well and do some data mining to be testing your messaging to stay ahead of the curve. Okay? So with that in mind, let's jump into the Sales Podcast Creed, which is today is my day. I work diligently towards my goals, which are bigger than me. I bite off more than I can chew because only then will I truly know my current limits, and surpassing them becomes my new goal for today. Through education, mastermind mentors, and bold, decisive action, today will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better yet. I'm ready to produce. But before we do that, you must know from today's book of useless information that a daringolade, is that right? Daringolade means to fall and disintegrate. So over Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, make sure you do not daringolade at the party, especially a company Christmas or Thanksgiving, New Year's party. It's the best way to disintegrate your career. So to elevate your career, let's now shift gears and bring on Tom Blue. Tom Blue, fellow Southerner, shifted over to California, now in Colorado, founder of Lead 411. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How are you?
Very good. How you doing?
I'm good. Is it snowing up there yet?
It's not. Actually, this morning it was pretty chilly, though. I bet up in the mountains, though. I bet up in Vail and stuff. I bet you they're getting snow right now.
I went to the Air Force Academy, and I saw that they had gotten snow like a week ago.
Oh, really?
Late September. So it must have avoided you.
Colorado Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sure it's up, just a slightly higher altitude.
All right. Well, enough about the weather. Let's get down to business.
Sounds good.
For everyone that doesn't know you, would you mind take a minute or two, tell us a little more about who you are, what makes you tick?
Yeah, sure. Basically, actually, I kind of wrote some things down here. Things of.
You can't. This can't be formal. You better throw those away, man. You got to close your eyes now and talk to me.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. In the trash. Should I make the little trash noise in the?
Yeah. Do I have that? Let me see.
Right. Basically,
all right. That's there.
Yeah. Basically, I kind of always had an interest in entrepreneurship. I started out, just as a young guy, I really looked up to my grandfather who had started multiple businesses, and I always thought it was really, really interesting. And I thought it just sounded like a lot of fun. It never seemed like work. Everything else to me kind of seemed like work. So I guess I went to, USC and joined the entrepreneurship program there, which was phenomenal. It was really great experience. You get access to a lot of different entrepreneurs and get to hear their stories, and it's just really, really cool. And so doing that, I really knew that I wanted to start a company, but I did not start a company initially. Right out of school, I knew it was a lot of work, and I knew I was going to spend a lot of time, and I was still kind of having fun and whatnot. So my thing was it was 95 when I graduated from school, so that was just right when the internet was taking off, and I had some friends that were kind of the coders, that were programmers. So I started researching that. I'm like, well, I could probably do something like that. I could probably, I was always decent at math. I'm sure I can figure this out. So when I graduated, I didn't start a company. I basically went to work for Hughes Aircraft in LA. And I was doing coding. I was kind of like a junior coder and a tech liaison there. So I basically had a friend that was taught me a few things. He was doing really well. It was 95. Tech was really, really, really starting to take off. So he just kind of got me involved there. And then next thing you knew, I was teaching at USC some database development courses. So. Then I had a couple of other jobs doing technology consulting, doing some like web development and stuff. And then from there, I started a recruiting business, which placed technology people, programmers, developers into companies in California, NorCal, and Southern California. So, the web was really starting to take off. So we had, we were targeting, businesses that were getting, specific news events were occurring for them. So when a company got venture capital financing, or they opened up a new office, or a new CTO hired, that sort of thing, I would go out and I would target those companies because they were doing a lot of hiring, right? So. Right. We had this, tech recruiting business, and, I was in charge of getting all the new business. So I would go out, I would look, research on the web, find all these companies that got funding, find out all these companies that have just opened a new office, hired a new CTO or VP of HR. Then I would go out, dig up who the company management team was, go on the company website, find out, who's who at the organization. Then I would go and I'd dig up the email format and figure out what the email was, and then I'd send them emails telling them about our services, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously a lot of people were doing that. So I decided to build my own system. I'm like, okay, I started talking to other people that were in different industries that were doing the same thing. And I'm like, well, this is a lot of time, a lot of research time, spent on this. So let's build a solution that has all this in one place. And then, I'm sure I could sell that. So at that point, I started another company. So I had the recruiting business, and it was doing well, but things were starting to slide. With the in 2001 and everything, and I was like, well, I'm going to try to do this other business, and I had this idea, so it kind of took off from there.
How did you get into recruiting from doing coding for Hughes Aircraft?
Actually, I started working at this ad agency. Okay, so when I was at Hughes Aircraft, I did that for a while, and then I got a senior coder position at an ad agency. And I noticed that the recruiter that brought me in, this is going to be pretty funny. The recruiter that brought me in, I swear it seemed like 2 hours of work for him. Like I talked to him, he got me placed into the position, and then he made, whatever it was, like $20,000 or something. So I was like, well, man, I need to have that business. I have a lot of contacts in LA. I know a lot of, younger people that are, tech people that I know. This is a perfect opportunity for me to go into and start my first company. So I started with a business partner. I had a business partner. And so just kind of moved into that. And that's where I really started getting into, the selling piece of it. That's, recruiting is there's a large, you're selling all day long. Because every person you talk to, you're basically selling. You're selling the person that is getting placed in a position, and you're selling the company on the person that you're trying to get them to hire. So, you're really doing selling all the time.
Yep.
So,
hey, on a USC note, did you ever run across a big offensive lineman named David Opolskis?
No, I didn't. And the name sounds familiar, but I didn't.
Yeah, he was there at the same time. I went to high school with him.
Really?
He was my center in high school. Then he was Pete Maranovich's center during at USC.
Yeah.
Well, before he got kicked out for smoking dope, but that's a whole nother story.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing him around. Maravich. Yeah. So.
All right. So there you are, dabbling around. I mean, were you making money, or was it a struggle?
With the recruiting business?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we did great. For a while there, it was just really fantastic.
How did the 2001.com, the 2000.com implosion and then 9/11? I mean, how did those impact you?
Yeah, I mean this is all kind of writing on the wall. I mean, 2000 there was a lot of writing on the wall. I mean, people say that there's a lot of crazy valuations now, but I mean nothing in comparison to that period of time when there was just some of these companies had zero revenue and had these exorbitant valuations that just didn't exist. So that was all there was complete writing on the wall for it, and I started
How did you
looking
prepare
at that
for that?
Well, that's when I started looking at the other options, right? Started looking at a different solution. And that's when it came. That's right when Lead 4-in-1 started.
Okay.
So the good thing about having a company that focuses on salespeople is that regardless of the times, everybody needs to sell. So even if things are going great, then great. People have the money to spend on products more than they did during the lean times. But in the lean times, people need to sell. So it's really important, for them. So basically, just keeping that. It's pretty stable business. Let's just put it that way.
So what have you learned in all these years of recruiting? I mean, do you consider yourself a recruiter, or do you consider yourself
I consider myself an entrepreneur, and then I've learned different things And I consider myself an entrepreneur. I'm, sort of techie. I built our whole site and everything. But then I'm also sort of a salesperson. But as a salesperson, that wasn't something like from the beginning. That's what I am. I'm a salesperson. That's something that I had to completely learn. And so, in the recruiting business, I 100% learned that, it's something that I do think can be taught. And so, my focus was really just building relationships, right? I was basically a relationship seller. Right. So I would go out and the key was to, understand each person that worked at the company, whether it be the CTO or the VP of HR or whatever, what their real, focus was, what they found really important. Right.
Right.
And then, just really understand that and make sure that they knew that. And then at that point, go out and find, that right person. But not just finding that right person. It's another thing is you also need a network of tech, programmers. You need a network of people that trust you as well. So that's also relationship selling. So you're basically building this network of people that trust you. I mean, and which is hard because most coders they hate recruiters. So it's like, so you really have to, really make sure that they, know that you're looking out for their best interests.
It's all a sale, baby. I always say, sales is the straw that stirs the drink.
Right.
Learned that from a tough sales VP that I had years ago. So what do people get wrong? What do they do right when they're building networks, when they're recruiting, when they're trying to find their own job? I mean, I've used your site on and off for years just to stay up on current events, see what companies are hiring and firing. I mean, your database is unbelievable in the accuracy. I mean, where do you get all of this background information? Because you got the scoop on a lot of bigwigs.
Right. We, initially, initially I did all of that, like some of the data entry, like when I first started it, I had no money. And like, when we started it, it was, speaking of 9/11, I mean, it was, right when 9/11 happened, basically at that point, okay, sorry, I'm trying to rethink everything here. So, I started the company in May of 2001. And then, so I made the service free initially. And so, basically all these, people started telling other people and blah, 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 and it just really started growing exponentially. And then, when 9/11 hit, I just basically, I didn't know what was going to happen. I couldn't get any funding or anything like that. I mean, basically all VC money had dried up on that. So basically at that point, I'm like, I got to, put in a charge and try to, get people at least purchasing something so I have a consistent revenue stream coming in. I'm sorry. What was the initial question? I kind of got lost.
So all right. So you're shifting gears here. You have to start charging. How do you shift that model and do it smoothly and effectively?
Yeah.
And then I want to get into what people can do on their own to recruit, to find good leads, and then obviously they're going to cobble it together. And then I want to talk about some of the benefits of how you have brought all that together under one roof. But talk to me about making that shift, because back in 2001, and people may or may not remember, there were different ways to monetize sites, and after 9/11, things got real, right? Right. But shifting from free to paid, I mean, quite often companies will collapse right there because they alienate their base. and they don't recover from that.
Yeah, for sure. We made it extremely, extremely clear that it was going to be a paid service in the future.
Okay.
So, we basically slapped the beta stamp on it. You can, use this, please, tell whoever we're working on this solution right now. And, ultimately it's going to be a paid solution. Yeah, you definitely have some slashback. And we did. I mean, definitely there were some people that were like, mad, but, it's a relatively inexpensive service. So I think there wasn't much, just not much, bad talking about it. Yeah, backlash. So we, so that shift, it wasn't necessarily as hard as I thought it was going to be. I definitely thought it was going to be a lot rougher, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, of course, you lose, so many users, immediately. And we did, regular users. We did keep a kind of like a freemium kind of solution. So we provided some, news in a base kind of subscription so that people could just, continue to use the site, but they wouldn't get access to the contacts. Right. So that, maybe that helped a little bit too. But I really, I think if you're very clear and open and transparent from the beginning, I think people, understand it. And I think also another thing is people understood at that time that, people weren't going to be working for free and getting stuff for free, Right. Just everything got, like you said, it got real.
So how did you know how to price your offering?
I went out, I did some, bought some sort of like pricing book or something about doing pricing and doing a survey.
Okay.
So, and then send it out to, a handful of people. And to be fair, I would have, looking back on it, I would have made our prices higher. I think, it's always better to start higher and then lower your price. It's just, it's just a value thing, right? People just have, perceptions, right?
Right. Yeah. You can always lower your price. It's really hard to raise it.
Right.
But now you've got, 6 different offerings. Why so many? Because I know sometimes, like reading Daniel Ariely's book on Predictably Irrational, he would argue that that's too many options and people's brains might go into vapor lock. How did you come up with 6 tiers?
That's what our customers were asking for us, and we had a certain different levels of people that were, only need a certain amount of data, and then others that needed more, blah blah blah. Right. So that's how we started out. We might change that actually. We're looking at doing different kind of options for the future because. I know what you're saying. Can get kind of confusing for people. And, actually, do you ever watch this TV show Brain Games? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they talk about that as well, like going into, people aren't necessarily happy with their choices or whatever. If they go in and there's, 30 choices. Right. And then they pick one. Right. They're not necessarily happy, but if there's 3 of them, then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably switch that in the future. We're actually working on a number of different things to improve our product. We've basically, been the same kind of solution for a while. So we just really kind of honed in, perfected that solution. Just being on this niche that just focuses on the news. And then really quality contacts on, the larger organizations. We weren't ever going to be competing with data.com, ZoomInfo, whatever, those big contact databases. So that's, we had our niche, and that was great. And we just, fine tuned it, made it as good as we could get, and then just, work the marketing. And then now we're trying to take it to the next level. More and more of our clients are asking for more and more contacts. They also started asking for technologies. They wanted to know more information about, the technologies these companies were using. Just things just get more and more advanced, and, you want to continue to increase your market size, and then also, make your customers happy. So the past year, we've made a lot of changes to our site. We started adding in a number of different things in which people, previously we didn't even use any kind of like SIC codes or anything like that. We had our own industries. Now we have, we supplemented our database with SIC codes. We started adding in that IT intelligence. We're using crawlers, web crawlers to basically get information about what technologies companies are using. So now we can know if a company's using Oracle, or if they're using Salesforce or, Marketo or something like that. We let our clients know that, so they can search for that kind of information just by crawling job boards and crawling the actual company websites. Then we started getting more into, just a better searching mechanism, so people can really look back and search all of our old press events, and really kind of fine tune their searching. But the real thing is that most people were asking for is adding in more and more contacts, right? People want to be able to come to our source and come to our site and be, okay, that's my, be all end all. I'm going there, I search, I find it, I don't have to go anywhere else. So that's what we've been working on the past year. And so we've kind of come up with this solution. We've had a team of people in India for 10 years probably of people that are helping out in the news piece. We use some technology to find out the news, and then we use human intervention to be able to kind of make sure that there's no duplicates, that the information is correct. So we use a kind of a combo approach. So now we're kind of taking that to the contact side. So we're kind of doing a three-pronged approach where we're getting data from crowdsourced data coming from numerous different providers that we're connected to, and then we go out and we verify that using technology and then also human oversight. So what we're finding is that we're able to really improve the quality of the current solutions. Just using a crowdsourced model or just using a technology crawled model, we don't believe that it's going to give you the best kind of contact. So, our goal is to use all these three sources and to really make it very, very verified, and that would, ultimately save our customers time. So, being able to, knock down their research time and be able to find their contacts whenever they want.
So what kind of information can they get? I mean, what are you providing? You gave some examples, Marketo, whatever technologies you use on their website, but I mean, you're getting info on like new hires and fires, right? Layoffs, funding, large contracts
right.
being assigned. And your clients are then exporting those contacts to, are they doing like mass marketing? Are they doing like direct mail to these people? Are they just, I see you've got a Salesforce.com plug-in. So are they assigning leads in a round robin fashion saying, go get them, Tigers? How are your clients using this data?
I think both. We have, there's clients that use, just the news kind of piece. And that's how they get all their leads. That's how they get all their customers. And then there's clients that use, our database to be able to do, like email marketing. A lot of them are doing kind of email marketing with a content twist, kind of sending out, not necessarily sending out just an email blast saying, hey, this is our service, check us out, blah, blah. doing something more on the lines of starting to send out some content, some content about maybe their solution or about their industry, just to kind of, gather some interest and some brand awareness.
So are they emailing from within your platform, or are they exporting it to their own platform?
They export it. They export it and they export it out of our database and put it into whatever solution that they might have.
Okay.
And then, they might divvy it up to their reps. So, this rep sends it out to, his people, like his prospects in his region, each day or whatever. So I think there's a little bit of both going on. And then there's some, that do both. I mean, there's some clients that, just focus on this or just focus on that, so we'll have like a lot of sales and marketing companies, like lead generation companies themselves, that are in charge of getting leads for their clients. Of course, they want to, use us and use our data to be able to, generate leads for their clients. And then we have, IT consultants. Let's say if you're a Salesforce developer, I know you're a big Infusionsoft person, so we can find, in our database we have, you can find all the people that use Infusionsoft, all the companies that use Infusionsoft in a particular region or whatever. So
how do you know that? Just from crawling their websites and
crawling
seeing the code?
Yeah, it's just code. There's specific code that Infusionsoft uses. It might reference something that's on their site. Yeah. Maybe one of your lead gen forms or something like that.
Right.
Something like that, or just specific words too. There's certain flags that will, that people use regularly. There's certain JavaScript that Salesforce uses, and specific kind of words that they use. So we just kind of crawl that and find it, and then plug it in there.
Right.
But yeah.
Do you have agencies, like you mentioned earlier, and it sounds like that might happen, like where they would buy your enterprise account, get unlimited contacts, and then turn around and sell those? And
they sell them to their clients?
Yeah.
We have people that have like like partnerships with that are, because, there's a lot of, there's some people where we have a subscription where they get access, they pay a much higher fee than the enterprise fee that we have there.
Right.
And they are allowed to give it to, use it for numerous clients or whatever. And then there's some that, just have a reseller kind of thing where they kind of sell our solution to them.
Right. Can people put in like a custom query, or do you basically say, here's the 8 or 800 things we can find, and that's it?
Yeah, you can do no, not a custom really. Well, you can put in your custom criteria, but yeah, there's only certain things that you can do, but it's a lot. I mean, there are a lot of options to do. Of course, you have employee size, revenue size.
But like you mentioned software, like if I pulled up some obscure piece of software, you're like, hey, we don't search for that yet.
We've got a pretty big list. We've got a pretty big list of software that people use. It just, if there's not many people using it, though, it's just not going to be
right.
It's not going to be that well populated.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, all the typical stuff. Like state, location and everything. But then, you can get more deep into the company's, specific keywords. Another thing that we're doing is what they're specifically hiring for. So, if they're hiring for specific positions, then, you can search for that too. So, if they're looking for, I don't know, IT developers or Java developers or something like that. You can search for that. Like, they're currently hiring for this.
So I have a 12 and a 14-year-old daughter. Could I do like an alert so when somebody searches their name, it like fires out a virus and takes down their computer?
Yes.
Nice. Sign me up for that package.
Absolutely.
And I've got 3 more girls coming up behind them. So I could be like a lifetime client.
Oh, that's impressive. Five girls?
5 girls, 2 boys.
Wow, you are impressive.
No, my wife is.
Yeah, I mean,
I got the easy part.
yeah. You'll know what you're doing working.
Now I just got to track them all down and put food on the table. So,
All right. Yeah, yeah.
fortunately, my wife does that too. I just got to bring home the bacon.
Right, man. That's a lot of work. But I guess I hear that after 3, it's basically you have like one that kind of manages everybody else, or the oldest one manages the second oldest, and kind of goes down the line.
3 was definitely the inflection point. It got relatively easier. You know, you have that first kid and you're just like, how do we will never go out again. Then you have a second, you're like, oh my gosh, 1 was so easy. Then you have 3 and you're outnumbered. Right. So, but by that time, if you have any type of spacing, you know, 1 or 2 of them are out of diapers, you know, they can buckle their own car seat. I mean, those little things in life, you're like, oh, thank goodness. This is so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now my oldest girl, she's like a mom, man. She's in there baking right now. She takes care of the baby. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's good. Good to have a little boss.
Have a lot of kids. It's all good.
Right.
So how big is your team now? I mean, is everybody virtual? Do you have an office?
Yeah, everyone's virtual. You know, we're hoping to take it to the next level here. So yeah, I have a salesperson in Santa Barbara. We have a sales assistant in Arizona. A chief architect is in Boston. And then he has 2 people, 2 full-time developers that he works with. That are constantly doing everything. Then we do then we have the data entry team that kind of overlooks the data that's coming in. That's 10 people. You know, it's I don't know what that is, maybe 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're virtual.
Cool.
My idea of moving to Boulder was to basically grow it. We've kind of been a niche business for the past, 10 years or 10 plus years. And what I want to do is take this thing to the next level and, really improve on the brand that we have. I mean, we have a lot of loyal customers that have been with us since the very beginning. And, I want to take this and make it an even better product for them. And so that's basically the goal. I want to build it here.
Right. And why Boulder?
It's just a big technology hub here. It actually has the most startups per capita. It's even more in Silicon Valley.
Wow.
It's just, it's a smaller place, obviously, but there's a lot of tech here. There's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of, it's university town, so there's a lot of younger people coming out that could
cheap and optimistic talent. And now I'm on to you, man.
Yeah,
very wise. Give them monsters, pizza, and I don't know what Friday brunch, and they're all good.
Yeah. So it seems like a really good spot, and it's like you're saying, it's an optimistic place. Something about a college town. It's just a lot of optimism. Just a lot of fun, and I really like it so far. So I'm hoping to be here for a long time.
Heck, you're the owner. Do what you want, right?
All right.
Very cool. Well, where can people learn more about you? Where do you want them to go?
Yeah, just the website, lead411.com, and then they can just do a free trial. We'd love to for people to check it out. In the next month or so, we're going to be really releasing all this these extra contacts and extra data. So,
okay. Lead411.com. Hit it and get all your leads and grow your business. Very nice. Well, thank you, sir. I may come up to Colorado for a football game. If I do, I'll let you know. You'll have to drive down to Colorado Springs, though, man.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm in.
Sounds good. Well, go
Thank
forth
you,
and
Wes.
prosper, man. Stay warm.
Will do. Good to meet you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Sure.
What did I tell you, huh? Told you he's a laid-back guy. I had to pull some things out of him. But notice how in the beginning, Tom grew up, he got the entrepreneurial bug, if you will, from his grandfather, but he didn't jump right in. He saw an opportunity, in the late 90s, but he got into coding. Then he was teaching, okay? And it wasn't until he saw the writing on the wall, right, from the dot-com implosion, that he made his leap of faith. And obviously things have worked out for him. But, look around and ask yourself this question. What is holding you back? What are you afraid of? And is it fear? And why do you have that fear? Most of our fears are unfounded. The things that we worry about. I've seen numbers like 96% of the things we worry about and fear never come to pass. And the 3% that do aren't as bad as we feared. Maybe 1% of the time is it truly as bad as we were worrying about. So we're really worrying about the wrong things. So, look around. What's happening in your marketplace right now where you can jump in and seize the day, right? Capture that opportunity and leverage it for your own benefit, but it's your own benefit because you are providing benefits to others, okay? That's the beauty about capitalism. You can't force your way into the arena of ideas and value. You have to provide and present value, and then the more value you provide, the more money you make. It's a beautiful thing, okay? So understand that, money is not evil. So look around and find people that are underserved, underhelped, and then figure out a way to scratch their itch, right? They've got an itch they can't reach. You can reach it. People will pay for that scratch. So as always, be sure to visit thesaleswhisperer.com/Tom-Blue to see the links to his site. You can follow him on Twitter. Please leave some comments there on the podcast as well. Ask any questions, and I'll get to those as best I can. And please share the wealth here. Share the love. If you visit thesaleswhisperer.com/love, it will create a little click to tweet that you can automatically just publish. It's a great way to help drive traffic, bring awareness, and the more people listen, the more people I can help for free. And that's a good thing, right? So be safe this Thanksgiving, holiday, New Year time. If you're listening to this later, be safe on, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day for sure. Goodness gracious, Memorial Day, 4th of July, whenever it is you listen. And as always, remember to sell different.